Hey everyone, so I'm going to try this one more time because I want to get my audio tuned in just a little bit better. So I'm just going to do one more run through about the living wage. Bear with me a little second here while I get some graphics up. All right, so I want to talk about the living wage because I feel like too often we're talking about minimum wage when really what matters is the living wage, because minimum wage it kind of ends up just being an arbitrary number. So what's the deal with living wage? Living wage, unlike minimum wage and unlike poverty wage, living wage is what it takes basically to be okay. It's not just your needs for housing, for shelter, for food. It's for the other stuff like, let's say, clothing, soap, toothpaste, etc. And to me, the key is that living wage is just satisfactory. It's just okay. That's all it is. It's not fantastic. It's just enough to be okay. Interesting. What happened to our background? Backgrounds are gone. Oh, there we go. There we go. So, living wage, it's enough to be okay. You're not doing great. Things aren't fantastic. You're just able to pay your essential bills. Living wage is not even talking about enough to go to the movies, to go on a trip, to go have fun. It's enough to exist. Now, it's important that we talk about poverty wage too, because poverty wage is enough not to cover like the little extras and everything, but just enough to cover your rent and your food. That's it. Rent and food. So at poverty wage, you're keeping a roof over your head and you're eating, but that is it. Now, MIT put together a great tool for us, and there are two people responsible for this. So first, we've got Dr. Amy Glassmeyer and Tracy Farragon. And what they put together is a tool that lets us go onto the MIT website and find what the living wage is anywhere in the United States. So let's take a look at California. Minimum wage in California is $15.50. So what would an adult with no kids have to make to be able to keep a roof over their head, to eat, to buy their toothpaste, their toilet paper, their clothes? That's it. They'd have to make $21.24 an hour. So already you can see that one adult is $6.24 short. And of course it only gets worse if you start bringing kids into the mix. So one adult with one kid, one adult with two kids, one adult with three kids. Look at how much that living wage changes. Now, I know there are going to be plenty of people out there who are going to say, well, yeah, but that should be a two-parent family. There should be two working adults in that home. Okay, fine, let's look at two working adults, but let's look at them first with no kids. So two working adults with no kids, they need to each be making $16.15 an hour. Notice it is better than that kid with the one adult with no kids. They were having to make $21.24, right? So at the $21.24, they were doing much worse. At least now that they're sharing a space with another adult, they only need $16.15 an hour. But they each need that because both adults have to be working. So how are we doing as a country? This chart's really helpful. Statista gives us this chart which shows us the living wage gap. In other words, the difference between the minimum wage and the living wage in every state of the country. Now, how are we doing? We suck. Every state in the United States has a gap between the minimum wage and the living wage. You simply cannot survive on a minimum wage salary. And I know we're going to have all those people who are going to be quick to jump in here and say, well, yeah, those jobs are starter jobs for high school students. Come on, we know that's BS. Because who's serving us our burger at 11:30 on a school day in September? It shouldn't be a high school kid. There are adults working these jobs. And there are a lot of jobs that they're not starter jobs that some high school kid is getting that are earning minimum wage. So this is why I argue that we have really got to keep the conversation focused on living wage, not just minimum wage. Minimum wage comes off as an arbitrary number, comes off as being unimportant, and sounds like we're just trying to, I don't know what's their argument, that we're trying to help out lazy people or something. These are working people. These are people who are working. Okay, there's my chicken. There's the chicken. Where'd you go, chicken? All right, no more chicken. All right, so apparently that's your Gen Explorer podcast for tonight. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. For those of you on YouTube, on TikTok, thank you for duetting and stitching. And hopefully we'll keep this going and do some more of this.